Hi! Welcome to the Great Maddie Ride. My name is Maddie, and today I'm going to be talking about my first real time at Universal Studios as a Disney nerd, and I'm going to explain what that means in a few minutes. So first, I did want to do a little bit of housekeeping regarding my channel. I'm sure the people who are already subscribed to me are going to be very confused at this. I am currently undergoing kind of a switchover with my channel. Over the past year or so, I've been making like mostly faceless crochet tutorials, which is completely different from the theme of this video. And I'm still gonna be doing those. I do really love doing them. However, I have a really big history of going to the Disney parks and recently the Universal Orlando parks, and I've always had this total obsession with the Orlando theme parks, and I finally can't contain it anymore and I need an outlet. So you are now my outlet. Basically, I just need an excuse to talk about theme parks and roller coasters, and this is how I'm choosing to do it. So my YouTube channel going forward will be called The Great Maddie Ride, referencing a well-known defunct attraction that I will talk in droves about later on, but that's another topic for another day. So yeah, I would love to get into start making some Orlando theme park content, so here we go. I know that this is very different from my usual content. Like I said, I've kind of been mostly faceless this whole time. So yeah, this is very different for me. This is very new. Talking to a camera is very different and something I'm not at all used to. So as I look down at my notes, thank you for bearing with me. All right, now with all of that out of the way, let's get into my history with theme parks. So my first time at a theme park was in 2008. I was 7 years old and my family went on a Disney vacation. Now this was the result of my begging for quite a while, and my parents finally caved and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll go on a little Disney vacation, scratch it off the list. Yeah, right. Little did we know that that tiny little trip would completely freaking ruin us for life. Me probably most of all, myself and my mom. It started a snowball that it's out of our control now. It really is. The first year we went, I believe we stayed at Pop Century, and we went during Labor Day weekend, and then after that it became our annual vacation. We went there every single year. The first, I think 6 or 7 years we stayed at, maybe it was 4 or 5 years, I really don't know. My memory with this stuff is awful. But for the first few years, we stayed at Pop Century Resort. And then eventually we stayed at Port Orleans Riverside. Now my family lived in the New Orleans area, so this romanticized version of the bayou was so enticing for us. So we started staying there, and it was beautiful. I adore that resort. I haven't had a chance to go stay there again recently, but I cannot wait until I can again. I love that resort. So yeah, we went to Disney World for our family vacation every single year on Labor Day weekend, up until 2020, when COVID-19 happened and then ruined everybody's lives. It didn't ruin our lives, it just ruined that year, but it felt like it ruined our lives. So obviously the world didn't know how to react, everything was shut down. We did not stay at Disney World that year. We decided to go on a vacation anyway, though. We went to Tennessee, and that was amazing, but it wasn't Disney. I know I sound like the most insufferable Disney adult right now. Low-key I am. I'm only a little bit ashamed of it. So since then, a lot has changed. That year started a chain reaction of all kinds of events for me. I got married to my lovely husband, and then we moved to Pensacola, Florida. And if you know anything about the Orlando theme parks, you know that that changes a lot for us, as it now makes us Florida residents. Stay with me. So since moving to Florida, one of our dear friends and his wife have moved to Orlando a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was a while ago. and he started to work for Disney. He is a roller coaster technician on Cosmic Rewind, and he's done all kinds of other really cool stuff. Those two, they love Universal. They're probably bigger fans of Universal than the Disney parks. And so 2 years ago, they invited me and my husband to Halloween Horror Nights. Now, we'd heard a lot about Halloween Horror Nights. It was so, obviously, I mean, it's so different from Disney World. I had brought my husband a couple times to Disney World for short little, like, 2 or 3 day spurts, just to kind of introduce him and show him what it's like inside this twisted little brain of mine. We ended up going to Halloween Horror Nights for the first time. And this is really where this obsession truly starts. Oh my gosh, everything went downhill so fast. It was amazing. We discovered a whole new world. This was our first time at any Universal park ever. Of course, it was in the studios where Halloween Horror Nights is pretty much every year since the early 2000s. We go in, and of course, the first thing we're greeted by is Rip Ride Rockit off to the left. And we're like, whoa! We see all of the scare zones, and we're like, whoa! We see all of these shows and stuff, and we're like, whoa! Freaking heavy metal blasting everywhere, and we're like, whoa! It was crazy. It was overstimulation in the best possible way. I mean, it was freaking amazing. We were instantly hooked. I mean, it was total, in that moment, just we were sold out. That was it. We're cooked. Of course, we also got to go on some of the rides in Universal Studios as well. We went on Escape from Gringotts, which was awesome. We went on Revenge of the Mummy, which of course is like our favorite to this day. We went on Rip Ride Rockit, which was the last time we were able to ride it. I think we did it once or twice. I think we did it more than once. We did Men in Black as well. I think that's all the rides we were able to do, but I think those are the only ones that were open during HHN. We did all of those. We absolutely loved it. I mean, the park was amazing. It was something unlike anything I'd ever experienced, and that was it. We were done. So that brings us to current day, which I am affectionately calling the pass holder era. So now we frequent the parks a lot more often than just once a year. My husband travels for work a lot, and he's often in Orlando, and usually I'll come down for a few days to, you know, go to the parks and visit our friends and stuff. Obviously in much smaller doses than a big family vacation, but we're going way more than once a year, which is way better in my opinion. In the past couple months, I have bought an annual pass for Disney World for myself. My husband has yet to get one. We're about to buy him his as well so that we can both go together. And then we're also looking into Universal annual passes as well. Oh my god, it got so bad so fast. So yeah, that was my history with the theme parks. Now that I'm done yapping about all that, you're briefed, you know what's up. Now I want to talk about what's going on in my brain today, which is an obsession, a newfound obsession with Universal and with theme park history. So a few weeks ago, ironically on Labor Day weekend of this year, it's still so surreal to me that I ended up going on this theme park vacation on Labor Day weekend again. That's just so crazy to me. We, meaning my husband and I, had the amazing opportunity to go to Disney and Universal parks with one of our best friends. He'd never been to any theme parks before. This was like a total beginner introduction to all of it. This is like a whole world that he just doesn't know anything about. He had no experience, and it was so awesome getting to be the ones to introduce him to all of that. He loved it. He had such a blast. Now, we had this awesome trip planned out that was 5 days long. We had 2 days in Disney parks. Our first day was Animal Kingdom. Our second day was Epcot. Because there's food and wine going on right now. I mean, how can we not? And then our last 3 days were Universal parks. We would go to the studios on the first day, and then Halloween Horror Nights that night. Then we go to Islands of Adventure on the next, and then Epic Universe on the last day of our trip. Now, this was our first time going anywhere outside of Universal Studios my husband and I, we'd never been to Islands of Adventure or Epic Universe. So this was like, those last 2 days would be new for all of us. So first off, I want to talk about our day in Universal Studios. Not gonna lie, low-key, that day really disappointed us. Seeing it during Halloween Horror Nights is one thing. I know this is common knowledge to everyone else, but seeing it during the day with nothing going on was a whole other thing. It was stale. And I've done deep dives into the history, and so I now kind of understand why it's so stale. Because Universal has a big problem of replacing attractions, usually well-beloved attractions, with what's trending that time and day. And as a result, they have a very, a park that feels like a shell of its former self, for sure. I do want to list the rides that we did not go on. We did not go on, we did not do the Born Stuntacular. I know we should have, but in the moment I was just so disappointed and upset that I was like, nah, whatever, I don't even care. We also did not do Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon because, come on, it's another freaking simulator ride. And we also did not do Simpsons because, hello, another freaking simulator ride. And number two, I knew that it had replaced the Back to the Future ride. By the way, one of the greatest trilogies of all time, and I was salty, so I was like, no, I'm not riding that. Are you kidding me? They took out Back to the Future for this? No, come on. So yeah, those were the only 3 rides that we didn't go on. We did go straight to Gringotts that morning. We rode Escape from Gringotts first thing. Oh my god, I hate saying this. Oh, it was really underwhelming. First time we rode it, it was so fresh and new. I mean, it was so different from anything that we'd experienced at Disney, and we loved it the first go around 2 years ago. But this time around, it just was not it. Like, I know it's trying to be this coaster dark ride hybrid, and I would say that it succeeds in some aspects. It also fails in a lot of pretty big aspects. Every single time that the ride stopped for a freaking show scene, I was mad. I was like, can we please just continue the ride? This is so, like, we'll get like one good loop and then stop for a show scene, and then you'll get one good drop and then stop for the show scene. And the momentum was just completely ripped away, and I was like upset. I'm not as upset now. I've chilled out, I've made my peace, whatever. But in that moment, I was disappointed. We got off and I told my husband, I turned to him and I went, that was a lot better the first time around. And he looked at me and he said, yeah. So it's not just me, I know that. Still love the ride. It's still for sure a must ride every single time I go. But I was definitely seeing it through rose-colored glasses the first time around because I was in a new theme park. This go around I feel like was me sobering up. We rode everything else that we already rode. We rode the Mummy like 3 or 4 times because you have to. It's awesome. Love our Brendan Fraser fill. We explored everything, all the little corners that are not open during Halloween Horror Nights, just to check out everything in broad daylight. I will say, I got to ride E.T. for the first time, E.T. Adventure. We all did, obviously. That ride changed my brain chemistry. So I knew a little bit about the history of this ride. I knew that it's one of Spielberg's babies, and he basically is holding Universal by the toes so they can never get rid of it. It's the only ride that's still there that's original to the park opening, which I am a huge park purist, so I love that. So I told my husband, I was like, we gotta go on E.T. Adventure, we gotta, it's original, it's a dark ride. I didn't know anything about it outside of that, just that it was a dark ride and that it was original. The moment we walked into that queue, oh my god, our minds were blown. I mean, I looked at my husband and he looked at me and our mouths were just like jaw on the floor. It took our breath away because there's nothing else in that park like it. Giant practical set, like without spoiling too much. If you haven't ridden it yet, you know, that's on you. But basically you come out of this you know, obviously this studio setting, and you enter this big open room with a massive redwood forest in it, and it's gorgeous. The lighting, the sound design, everything is so convincing. You feel like you're wandering through, and this queue is not switchbacks. It's like a winding path through this forest that you feel like a little kid exploring these woods. That's how I felt. Blew our brains. We get to the ride. The ride vehicle pulls up. We see these bikes and we're like, oh my god, this is awesome. We get on. The ride starts. That thing pulls up and we're like, oh. And oh my god, I gotta tell you, it felt magical. It felt like freaking magic. The fact that there are no screens, this is a whole other video topic for another day. I will control myself for now. The fact that this was a wholly practical dark ride with animatronics and big settings and gorgeous set pieces, it took our breath away. The scene where you're flying over the city, are you kidding me? I got emotional. Like, I was crying. I look at my husband, he's got tears welling in his eyes, and he's like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. And I'm like, I know! So we get off of that ride just mind blown. We didn't ride it again, which I kind of regret. I wish I got like at least another ride or two in to take it in more. But all day long we were saying, I think that was the best ride here. And I'm a thrill ride junkie, for real. I love me a good coaster. Give me some G-forces, you know, I'm good. But I also love a good, well done dark ride. And that was a beautifully done dark ride. And I think it's my favorite ride there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think it might, that and then the Mummy, of course. But yeah, so that was that. So we kind of hung out, we ate some food, we waited for our friend who lives in Orlando to arrive. He was joining us that night, and then it was time for HHN. I'm recording this during 2025, so I'm gonna be talking about all the houses for this year. We did not do as much as I wanted to. I am going back in a few days, actually. And I'm gonna do some of the houses that I wanted to do this last time but didn't have the chance to, so give me a couple days and I'll probably make another video about the HHN houses. But we did Five Nights at Freddy's first. We hopped in line for that immediately. We only ended up waiting like an hour, but as soon as it opened, if we weren't in line first, we'd have easily waited 3 to 4 hours for that house. It was really good. Like, I had seen, you know, I keep up with all these things on Instagram and with all these, you know, like theme park influencers and stuff. And a lot of people were saying that it was not really worth it. It was kind of meh. And I can see why they would think that. It was a little bit underwhelming in some parts, like with the horror aspect, which I'm okay with because contrary to popular belief, I am not a horror junkie. Horror is not my genre. I usually can't do it. HHN is one of the only environments where I will actively kind of almost want to be scared a little. I loved the Five Nights at Freddy's house. I freaking loved it. Very glad there wasn't a whole lot of horror aspects, but the theming and the atmosphere in that house was freaking flawless. You felt like you were in that pizzeria and that you were actively being chased by possessed animatronics. Like, that's how that felt. There were so many Easter eggs. I mean, it would take me all day to go over the care and the thought that went into designing this house. You could feel it. It was definitely palpable. And then we did the Horrors of the Wyatt Six, which it's like a wrestling thing. I don't know anything about it, but the house was actually really good. There were some like more intense horror aspects in this house, but it was okay. I really liked it. It had some good scares in it. It had some really cool theming. Like, it actually felt like this gigantic haunted WWE event, and that was really cool to me, honestly. And then lastly, we only did 3. We did Fallout. Fallout was definitely my least favorite. I can understand why it gets the lowest ranking on a lot of people's lists. It was definitely the least intense. So if you want to go to HHN this year and you're really susceptible to scares, do Fallout. It's very easy to see where the scare actors are coming from, so you have time to like brace yourself and prepare, you know, mentally for it. It's also set outside, like obviously it's in like a soundstage, but it's set like outside, you know, in a Western setting. And that, I feel like, just made it a lot easier. It didn't feel very claustrophobic some of the time. It was definitely the least intense one. Also, there wasn't really a story with it. You can kind of tell that there's a story with most of these houses, but with Fallout, I was kind of like, why are we here? You know, like what's going on here other than I'm here to be scared? Like, yeah, that's great, but what actually is going on in the story of this house? It was very hard to pick up on. Right next door to Fallout was Galkin. It's like this Nordic themed house. I didn't do it, and I'm so mad. So, like I said, I'm going in a couple days. I am absolutely gonna do that house. It looks freaking awesome.
Hey, Editing Maddie here. I just needed to take a second right here and say that I need to do El Artista. It's a lot of my favorite vloggers' favorite house, and I can't believe that I totally forgot to mention it right here, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and do that one, and I'll let you guys know what I think about it.
I'm gonna do a couple more. I can't do Terrifier. It's way too intense for me. I can't do it. There's also smells in that house. No. I can't do smells, bro. Like, no. I can't do it. I would love to. I feel like if it didn't have smells, I would be able to do it. I can't stomach it, and that makes me really sad because I love art. But yeah, that one, there was a couple others that I was kind of iffy about, but we'll see. That night was fantastic. We did Nightmare Fuel because we have to do it every year. My husband and I freaking love that show. Our friend had a blast. Oh my god, he loved it. Like, he was bouncing around like a little kid, just so hyped up on all the energy. And he's like, he gets overstimulated very easily, which I understand because HHN is like an overstimulated person's nightmare, no pun intended, but he loved it. Like, there were little quiet corners to pull off and take a break in and stuff, and that was great, you know? He had a blast. He loved the houses. We left at midnight because my husband and he were out. Myself and our other friend, we were ready to go for like another hour or two. We just wanted to go and do everything else, but they were like fading fast. So we were like, okay, it's probably time to call it. But that brings us to our next day, which was Islands of Adventure. So Islands of Adventure, that's really when everything kind of kicked back up again. We regained some lost momentum. First off, we walk into Port of Entry, and I mean, this park is already a complete 180 from studios next door. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. The theming and the detail is on a whole different level. This park definitely felt a lot more, dare I say, Disney to me. I'm probably gonna get crucified for that, but I don't care. The theming was just so rich, and it looked so good and so pretty, and it was pretty convincing in a few areas, and I was looking around and I was just like, this is beautiful. So of course, the first thing we're greeted with is the Hulk, and my husband and I kind of look at each other and we're like, oh hell yeah. 9 a.m. first thing we do is ride the Incredible Hulk. The first ride on it was amazing. We rode it again. Second ride on it, absolutely freaking sucked. The first ride was so nice because it was new and we're excited. And it's this awesome thrill ride with corkscrews and loops and stuff, and it was amazing. But the second ride through really showed me how old it was, and kind of confirmed to me that I'm not a big fan of B&M coasters. I'm really not. I've ridden a couple. They're really not, they're not my favorite. I have yet to ride one that's not crazy shaky and does not, you know, knock me out from my head smacking against the shoulder restraint. Not that it wasn't still fun. I still had a great time, but that second go around was a little rough. So I was like, cool, got my fill of that, let's move on. We did not go right, we actually went left. I hear you're not supposed to do that, you're supposed to start at the right. We did the complete opposite. We made our way through, I have no idea what the Marvel comic land thing is. That section, we made it through there. We did not ride the Spider-Man ride. Again, the name of it is completely escaping me. Now that I know what it is, I really regret not riding it. I'm really sad. I did not realize that was the Spider-Man ride. I don't know why, I just wasn't thinking, I guess, but yeah, did not ride that. Definitely gonna go back as soon as I can and ride it. We made our way through Toon Lagoon. That area was super cool. I could tell that it's kind of held in a stasis by its two rides, which are both very popular, very, very good water rides. But the land around it is kind of dated and not very popular, but Universal has way bigger fish to fry than retheming Toon Lagoon, especially when it has two really good rides that get a lot of popularity, or have a lot of popularity. So I get it. We did not want to get wet, so we did not ride either of those rides. Dudley Do Right's Ripsaw Falls, and the water rapid one. Can't remember the name again. Next time I go, I'll definitely make a point to ride Ripsaw Falls because it looks so fun, first of all, and second, I hear so many good things about it all the time. So I'm going to ride it for sure next time I'm in Islands of Adventure. And then we get to Jurassic Park. Oh my god. So first we rode the River Adventure. And let me just say, my husband had no idea what this ride was, so he got the surprise of his life when we started going up and up and up and up that lift hill. Oh my god, that was so funny. I had convinced us, the rest of them, to ride, and he was looking at me like, why would you do this to me? And I was sitting over there like, yeah! But yeah, super cute. Definitely can't wait to see. They're about to shut it down for 10 months in 2026. Or no, I think it's starting in November of this year, right? But yeah, it's about to go through its 10-month closure. Very excited to see what they're gonna do to it. It needs some love for sure. And then was the moment we've all been waiting for. My husband and I came face to face with Velocicoaster. Finally, after waiting so long, we rode that ride, and I don't think I'm the same person that I was before. Oh my gosh. That is the contender for the best roller coaster that I've ever ridden in my entire life. Second only to Stardust Racers. Oh my god, I don't know. It's all still so fresh, I don't want to rank them yet. I love them so much. That ride, the Mosasaurus roll, all of it, just, it changed me as a person. I don't know what else to say. Then we made our way around to Hogsmeade. We had lunch at the Three Broomsticks. I had no idea that it was the most popular restaurant there at the time. We just kind of ended up there at lunchtime and it smelled really good inside, so we were like, yeah, let's get some food. We did get the butterbeer potted cream. Oh my god, that was so good. After that, we got in line for Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. First off, gotta say, Hogwarts Castle, stunning, absolutely breathtaking. I was never like really a Harry Potter kid growing up. I didn't even really watch the movies until really recently. I'm 24 now, so I'm a fan. I'm a very new fan. Never read the books. They're on my list. I really want to, but I haven't yet. Only seen the movies as of recently. But I am a fan. I do consider myself a Harry Potter fan. That castle, the queue, amazing. Oh my gosh, it felt, I was really walking through Hogwarts Castle in that moment. Like, it was crazy. The greenhouses, thank god the wait was short enough to where we got in the AC, because yeah, the greenhouses looked beautiful, but it was a literal greenhouse in there, let me tell you. Walking past those statues and past the moving portraits was just, it was so cool. And then you got to see like the Gryffindor common area. Like, it was so freaking cool, man. There was like a little kid in me that was awakened walking through that queue. It was so good. The ride itself, super sick. I do want to say that I do not get motion sick on rides. I just don't. That's not a thing that's ever happened to me before, and I've grown up riding thrill rides and all kinds of stuff. But that ride, oh, it made me sick. Thank God it wasn't a 3D situation where we had glasses, because that would have made it so much worse. The emphasized movement or I guess the exaggerated movement, and the way that you couldn't really tell which way was up the whole time. And then the switching from practical sets and animatronics to screens, just the combo of it all, it messed with my head. Not too bad, but it was enough for me to be like, oh my god, I think this is actually kind of getting to me a little bit. It was so cool though, that dragon and then the Forbidden Forest, creepy as hell, loved all of it. And then our friend who lives in Orlando, by the way, he was with us on this day as well. He's basically like our own private little tour guide. He also mentioned to me that the ride vehicles, the Kuko arm system, was the same as Monsters Unchained, and that got me so excited. Oh my gosh, I was so ready. So after that, we went to Seuss Landing. You know, I gotta pay my boy Cat in the Hat a visit. We rode Cat in the Hat. My husband and our friend were like freaked out, and I knew what to expect. I've seen ride-throughs of the ride, and I was sitting there just having a grand old time. My Thing 1 and Thing 2, those are my homies, man. I gotta go see them every time. So that was fun. My husband and I rode the carousel. That was so cute. We never do stuff like that, but that was so cute. So then, there's only one ride left, you may notice. We had a choice to make. Obviously, the wait had never dropped below like 2 hours for the whole day, but we knew we had to ride Hagrid's. We knew. And so we were like, look, let's get a lime butterbeer, okay? And let's just dedicate ourselves to waiting in this ride. Let's just get it over with. We're never gonna get a lower wait than this. Let's just get in line and go. So we did. It was around 4 or 5 o'clock. I think it was 5 o'clock, like the sun was setting. But we did, we got in line, we had our lime butter beers. It was awesome. Thankfully, the queue, we were just inside at the end of the line. Thank God, because it was hot. But I did get to see the famed wall from the queue of Dueling Dragons that Universal just left there. I love stuff like that. I'm such a sucker for homages to previous attractions, and I know Universal's really good about stuff like that, so I love just getting to see it. And I was like, oh, look at that, that's it. But yeah, we waited. It was not bad. The wait, we did not end up waiting 2 hours. I think we maybe waited like an hour 20. It was not bad at all. Definitely over exaggerated the wait time. The queue was beautiful. I am really upset they skipped the pre-show. They were not doing the pre-show. And I was really mad. I love me a good pre-show, you know? Like, tell me what's going on, tell me why I'm here. But no, they did not do that. I'm pretty sure there's like a really good Hagrid animatronic in there too, right? I didn't see it. I don't even know if that's right. But yeah, we go into the loading area that room where there's motorbikes going overhead. It was so cool. We get on the ride. We've waited around 80 minutes or so. The ride starts. We're enjoying it, having a great time, you know? Cool animatronics, cool fluffy, cool, whatever the hell that thing is. A Scroot? That sounds right. Cool Scroot, cool Hagrid animatronic. Then we get tangled in the devil's snare, and nothing could have prepared me for that moment. Absolutely nothing. Our local friend, he didn't tell us. All he told us was that there's a surprise, and we were like, okay, it's kind of sketchy, but you know, whatever. 17 feet later, we drop, and he's laughing at us. He's looking at my husband's face, and of course my husband's like, and bro is laughing at us in the back, and I was like, you little, yeah, whatever. We finished the ride, the switch track happens, and I'm like, oh my god, what? We get off of that ride again, another really great one that I think altered my brain chemistry. That ride was so good. That's easily the best story coaster I've ever been on. It was flawless. There was enough to keep you engaged, but it wasn't so much that it overwhelmed you with the ride experience, you know? Like, you could keep up with the story the whole time and actively be engaged with it. It was so good. And it's one of the best roller coasters ever. It was so good, man. So that about does it for our Islands of Adventure day. We called it early. We ended up leaving, getting a sushi dinner. It was really weird getting dinner off property, but you know, sometimes you gotta do it. So that leads me to our last day, which was Epic Universe. First off, I just gotta say, I'm so freaking grateful that we were among some of the first crowds to hit this place up. I know it's been open for a few months already. I am so grateful because that park is easily now one of my favorite theme parks in the world. I haven't been to many, mostly Disney World parks. Been to a couple Six Flags, been in Dollywood. I love Dollywood. But Epic Universe is, it's probably honestly, it might be my current favorite park. Absolutely magical experience. We get there, we ride Battle of the Ministry. Oh my gosh, that ride was so good. It caught me off guard. The fact that the seating configuration is very similar to Tower of Terrors, that definitely caught me off guard. But that ride had probably the best blend of screens and physical sets I've ever seen. And those Death Eater animatronics, I kid you not, I thought those were real people in costume. They moved so fluidly and they looked so real. That ride was so good. We are really lucky we did get to ride it. We hopped in it first thing in the morning. Our local friend was with us, but it was during early entry hours, so they were checking for everyone's hotel key to make sure that you were a hotel guest, because that's what the early entry hours are for. So our local friend couldn't ride it, but they were letting us get in line for it for when it opened at 9 o'clock. So we headed straight there and we got in line at about 8:45. It opened, we ended up thankfully not waiting very long at all. We waited maybe 45 to 50 minutes, which is kind of unheard of for Battle at the Ministry. But yeah, that ride blew my mind. The flu system going into the Ministry of Magic was so cool. Oh my god, I can't wait to experience that again. It was so cool. We went to the Moonshine Bar, which has my now favorite theme park drink of all time, which would be the Moonshine and Absinthe drink. I can't even remember what it's called, but oh my god, that's one of the best drinks I've ever had in my life. It was so good. That was number one of the day. We did come back and yeah, anyway. So then we headed to Isle of Burke. God, my inner child was healed going into there. Seeing it, walking through the portal, hearing the music. I mean, oh my gosh, it was so magical and it felt so real. We got lunch and then we only ate lunch there when we were there the first time. We didn't do anything. I think we left and we went to Dark Universe because we wanted to do Monsters Unchained because the wait was low and we didn't realize that the wait was always low. So we cut right across the park and we went over there. Dark Universe was so cool, man. I mean, the way that land like pulls you in, like you have the giant weenie of Frankenstein Mansion, obviously. And then you have the windmill in the back, Burning Blade Tavern. But like the way that there's just constantly something pulling you into that land is just, they did it so well. Like for it not being very big, it's laid out so well. We get on Monsters Unchained, we get in the queue, and this queue blew my mind. First of all, something really different about this queue is the sound design. You hear like things, heavy things moving up above you through the ceiling. There's like creaking, there's footsteps, there's like growling. It's so creepy. And it sounds pretty good. Like I was thinking a couple times, like, is there actually something up there? Like I'm kind of scared right now. It was so good. Seeing all the big electricity pulses from all the wires in the ceiling and everything, like it was so good. Another attraction that they were not doing the pre-show for, and I was so disappointed because I have seen videos of these pre-shows. They didn't do any of them. I missed out on one of the best animatronics ever, that being the Frankenstein animatronic, the Frankenstein's monster. And I didn't get to see it because they weren't doing the pre-shows. I was really upset. Here begins my so far complicated history with this ride. We get on, and our first ride through was great. There were a couple main animatronics broken. The first Igor animatronic was not working. You know, fine, whatever. Yeah, it's the first thing we see, but whatever. The Phantom of the Opera, he was sick as hell. First Victoria Frankenstein animatronic, she was dope. She looked great, moved amazingly. The second Dracula animatronic was not working. He was literally, I kid you not, he was just hanging there like this up against the wall in the dark. Like there weren't even show scenes playing around him. It was really lame. So that was kind of upsetting because those are obviously like pretty important scenes for the whole ride, and those are two very impressive animatronics that were not working. So we get off. I think we went to Burning Blade Tavern after that. We got some drinks. We got a couple, we got those cheese ball things like with the pepper jack cheese. Those things are really good. I could absolutely house an order or two of those. So then we went back to Isle of Berk and we watched The Untrainable Dragon. That show was incredible. The story was, I will say, as someone who's used to Disney shows, I know, sue me, the story left a little to be desired. That being said though, the set pieces of that show, I'm sure you've seen pictures if you haven't experienced it for yourself. Absolutely life-changing, took my breath away. And I absolutely must do that show every single time from now on, anytime I'm there. It was amazing. So after that, we went over to, I'm trying really hard to remember, we bounced all over the place. Then we went over to Nintendo World, I think. We rode the Super Mario Kart ride, Bowser's Challenge, that's what it's called. Could not remember the name of it. That thing was so cool. Like, can we talk about how cool it is to go into Bowser's castle? I mean, what? That queue is also so well done. It's so well themed. Even though it literally is just switchbacks, it doesn't really feel like it because there's so much to look at everywhere. The fact that this was AR, like, I didn't know that going into this. So it kind of like blew my brain. First they gave us the little hats and I was like, oh, this is cool, snazzy, little accessorizing happening. Then we get into the ride vehicle and you see these little AR goggles that they magnetically snap onto your hat. And I put them on and I look at my steering wheel and I can see how many coins I have and how many shells I have. And I was like, oh, this is sick. Honestly, can't believe it hasn't already been done. Well, it may have, and I just don't know about it. It probably has. But this was so cool. Having a ride this interactive that blends AR and physical set pieces was just, I mean, it was so new to me, and I was amazed by how well it was done. That ride was so fun. In the end, where you're on Rainbow Road and the whole room in person around you is black, but everything is happening in the goggles, and you feel like you're kind of going a million miles per hour. It was so fun. So after that, I believe we went over to the Donkey Kong area and we got the banana and pineapple float. That thing slapped so hard, it was so good. Then we went back to Isle of Berk. We did Dragon Racers Rally, which is the big like arm spinny ride thing. Absolutely terrifying. Would I do it again? Yes. Would I try to flip again? No. I tried and I got close, but that was really scary. A lot scarier than I thought. Probably not for me. But then we got to do Hiccup's Wing Gliders, and that ride that is a good roller coaster. It's a story coaster, just like Hagrid's is. I would actually venture as far as to say it kind of is like a little mini Hagrid's. They're very similar. This one though, it's designed, of course, to feel like you're flying. You do feel like you're flying. Like, first of all, it's butter smooth, and the way that the track is laid, it feels like you're gliding and flapping almost. It's a very unique roller coaster, honestly. Like, I was kind of amazed at how different it felt. It was so much fun. After Wing Gliders, we went over, what did we do? I can't even remember. We went back to Ministry of Magic and we got some more of those moonshine drinks because they were the moonshine and absinthe drink. They're so good. We kind of explored a few of the stores in there. We explored the candy store. We kind of explored around Celestial Park a little bit just because the sun had set and that park was absolutely stunning at night. I will never forget walking through and seeing that place at night. I mean, it was just, I've heard that it was meant to be seen at night, and I 1000% agree with that. That park is breathtaking at night. It feels like you're walking in a dream. I don't know why I forgot to say this earlier, but we did ride Stardust Racers in the morning. I know this is a little tangent. I don't know why I completely forgot to say it, but we did ride it. I think we rode it 2 or 3 times in the morning. We rode this before anything else. This was like the first thing we did, by the way, before Battle at the Ministry. That ride is my all-time favorite roller coaster. We rode both sides. They don't feel better or worse per se, but the experience is slightly different depending on the side you ride. That ride is my all-time favorite roller coaster right now. I do have to add as well, as of today, the incident on Stardust Racers where a man tragically passed away occurred a week ago, I think. Yeah, it was a little over a week ago. First of all, like I have to say that is absolutely horrible that happened, and the entire theme park world right now is we're heartbroken, and we're truly sorry for this family. I do have to acknowledge the fact that this may result in Stardust Racers opening back up drastically different than it was before. I'm hopeful. This is a topic for another video, of course, but I do need to say something because this is happening right now, and I am very grateful that I did get to ride on it, is all I'm trying to say. We rode on it multiple times. We had a blast. I love that roller coaster so much. We tried to ride it again that night. We did not have time to, but we had a plan. We hopped in line for Curse of the Werewolf, and I gotta say, I really like it. It's not worth the 60-minute wait that it constantly has. It's just not. That ending scene, dude, oh my gosh, I was so disappointed. I could not believe that they stuck a freaking mannequin. Yeah, we went back to Burning Blade Tavern and we got a couple more drinks. We ran back over, this was like our shut down the park plan. It was so much fun. We ran back over to Isle of Berk and we hopped in line for Hiccup's Wing Gliders. We got to get one more ride in on that. That was awesome. And then this was the big thing for shutting the park down. We hopped in line like 10 minutes before park closed for Donkey Kong Minecart Madness. And thankfully, not everyone else had the same idea. So we only ended up waiting maybe 20 minutes. Like, how crazy is that? It was over like 3 hours all day. But yeah, we got to ride it. That thing was so fun, dude. I really liked that there were bits of it that you can't see from the outside. Like, the ride ended up being a lot more than I thought it was. It was so fun, and it was longer than I realized. It was just such a blast. If you're kind of having second thoughts about it, please get on it. You're not gonna regret it. It's so much fun. It's a little more thrilling than you realize too. Like, it's a doozy. So that concludes our Epic Universe Day. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention for some reason, I did give Monsters Unchained a second chance. I wish I didn't, because the second go around was way worse than the first one. The Phantom of the Opera animatronic was down and not lit. He was in the dark. The first Igor animatronic that was frozen the first time around, he now had a freaking drape over him, dude. The same Dracula animatronic was also down. A lot of the like static animatronics that are on arms and like floating, a lot of those weren't working. The giant mummy thing coming from the ceiling, that animatronic was not working. It was the first time. I was so upset. Like, I was really mad. Basically the only thing that was working for the most part during our second ride was the screens. I don't go on rides for screens. I really don't. This is another video I'm sure I'll have to make. I have a lot of things to say about theme parks and the direction that they're going in with these freaking screens. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, that was our Epic Universe Day. All in all, I definitely didn't know what I was missing. I definitely have to say that the Universal experience is so much enhanced by Epic Universe. If I had gone to just Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure on their own, I would have been like, you know, it's cool, it's fun. I prefer the Disney parks though. But Epic Universe was just, it was so different. It was so fresh and so new. And I loved that freshness and newness. It's easily my favorite park right now, currently. Easily. And I have no shame about that. You know what? Consider me a convert. I'm a Universal girly now. So yeah, I know you really can't compare the two, Walt Disney World and Universal. They're literally apples to oranges, but I'm gonna anyway, because it's my video and I'm talking to you. And if you've watched this far, you know, it's on you for staying. You're still here, so. But yeah, as a Disney adult, I am now obsessed with Universal. I've done deep dives into all the history of all the rides and the parks and stuff. I have a lot to say. I really do. Like, I know I've said so much already, but I have so much more to say, and I'm really excited. Like I said, I am going back to Halloween Horror Nights this weekend. I'll also be going to Epcot. I would love to make a food and wine video because I've eaten a lot there this year, and I know where all of the most of the best food items are. I'd be more than willing to do that if you guys would like that. Please let me know how you thought of this video. I know this is completely different than what I've done in the past. I don't even think any of my current subscribers will watch this because it's so different. But that's okay. If you're a new friend, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me yap about, you know, Orlando theme parks. Hopefully you love them as much as I do, if not more. But yeah, that's it. I would love to do more theme park content in the future. Obviously, I'm planning on it. I have an attraction spotlight series that I have been kind of noodling lately, where I deep dive into the history of an attraction, go through the experience of it. I see that as being a video series that I could do on a lot of attractions, so there's a lot of, you know, discussing rides and shows and things. Lots of potential for that. Please let me know if you would like something like that. I would love to do HHN videos for people who are not the biggest fan of horror, like me. Maybe vlogs in the parks. Please let me know if this is anything that you would be interested in. I would love to do it. Probably gonna anyway, but I would love to know if you guys have specific ideas or anything in particular that you want to hear about. So yeah, thank you again so much for sticking around for this long ass video. And listen to a girl talk about Disney and Universal, mostly Universal. I hope you stick around in the future. Just to remind you, this is the Great Maddie Ride. My name is Maddie, and I'll see you at the next stop.